I spoke to Satish Jindel from SJ Consulting Group, and we talked about, well, the industry and whether Alibaba poses a threat to Amazon.
Yes, Amazon should be worried. However, I would say that the business model that Alibaba has, that has worked beautifully for them in China, is not going to have same success in this country or most other countries, because what people overlook is that the Chinese market for retail was not established. And so Alibaba closed that gap for them. But retail market in other parts of the world, including here and Europe, is fairly more developed. So they will not have the same success that they have had in China, in US or other places. And here they're going to compete with eBay and they're going to compete with Amazon.
So if you were talking to Jack Ma,
yep,
and he says, hey, I want to come into the US, what's your advice to him? How is he going to win in the US?
The way he's going to win is by finding, again, the buyers and the sellers to connect them and providing ability for them to ship and deliver, because without that, there is no e-commerce, to the person who's placing the order, using a vast network of transportation companies we have and working out arrangement with them, because this is where Amazon is trying to gain an advantage, that with my clout of shipping 3 million orders a day, I can get lower pricing for shipping, such that I can offset that myself. And if their shipping costs start to become too much for the people who are connecting through Alibaba, then Amazon will have an advantage.
Okay. It sounds like the shipping's the big deal here, because if I am Alibaba or Amazon, why don't I just build or buy a shipping company? And that's not too far-fetched, because some people have already begun to talk about that. Alibaba's got plenty of money.
Because that doesn't mean you'll have the lowest cost. Because having the vast network of companies who can deliver, and there are many more. People only think about UPS and FedEx and maybe the post office. In fact, what they don't realize is the e-commerce deliveries are made more by the post office than UPS or FedEx, okay? And you can't buy the post office. But the more volume you have, the more ability you have to work with the post office to get the deliveries done at the lower price than otherwise.
Are the days over for a startup to compete with these companies? Are they at the point where now this industry has matured to the point where you and I could never get together and say, hey, we want to compete against Amazon? Are they just too big?
I think for someone to be like Amazon and compete against Amazon, that they will never succeed. The brick and mortar retailers who are competing against Amazon, they will only win if they play by the rules that they developed, which is leveraging the brick and mortar stores. Because when you think about Amazon has got 54 DCs in the country. Macy's, Walmart have 1,000 stores. So they are much closer to you. And if they start finding the way to link technology to know what's available in the local stores that they can deliver to you on a next day basis, they will win the battle against Amazon. And for those who are trying to compete with Amazon on creating a network, they won't compete on that basis. With respect to Alibaba, where it's a pure technology play, it is easier to start up a business that can compete.
And if you could talk to Jeff Bezos, he says, hey, what do you want me to do? How do we have to change the company to ensure it's competitive for the next decade?
I would say get out of this habit of free delivery, because that is going to be your death knell. There is no free delivery. The only way you can have free delivery is if UPS, FedEx, and Post Office do not charge for delivery, and they will never do that. So get rid of this habit you have given to the consumer that delivery is free.